Welcome to Gamers Platform.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Adam Wolf from Gamers Platform, and today I've got something very special for you. It's an unboxing, but it's special because it's for me this time, okay? We are finally getting around to actually building my new rig that I've been planning this out for months and saving up the proper money, and certainly building that website for that one gentleman really helped out quite a bit. So I gotta say, it gave me a nice little boost, and we finally did it. We finally got all the pieces that we need. All the parts have come in. I do have a couple, maybe one other thing. AMD just came out with their new Live Gamer HD2, which is their competing card against the Elgato HD60 Pro, or just the 60 in general. And I was curious as to whether they were going to come out with something, you know, for internal purposes and stuff like that, because I was this close to going with Elgato, and AMD finally came through and brought out their awesome internal Live Gamer HD2. So I'll be getting that a little bit later. I don't need it right now. I've got their first HD capture card, so I don't have to worry about that right now. But what I do have to worry about right now is getting my main PC updated. And if you've been watching any of my videos, I've been running with the AMD FX 8370 Black Edition for the better part of probably 4 years, which is weird because I feel like it's been longer, but I don't think it actually has been that long. But it's long enough in the time that it took from them to, you know, be putting that stuff out and then finally bringing out the Ryzen platform. And I gotta say, I'm really excited. I've been waiting for this for a long time, and we're finally gonna get into it. So why don't we do just that? Okay, to start off the unboxing, what we're gonna look at here is the motherboard. I went with the X370 series board from ASRock. They're actually a pretty reputable brand, and this wasn't too expensive, which I'm really happy to say, but I'm also happy to say that it is a pretty badass board, and you'll see it in a second. But as you can see, it's Ryzen, built for Ryzen, obviously AMD and NVIDIA graphics cards if you need to do one or the other. I will of course be doing the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1060, which is what I'm running right now. And the best part about this though is that it comes with built-in AC wireless, which is a big thumbs up if I ever feel like I need to or want to go over to my best friend's house and, you know, he doesn't have multiple Ethernet cables. I do, so I tend to bring them over, but there's no real way for us to really hook up, so that'll really benefit me in the long run to have this board, and its wireless capability. So I'm really excited about that. Let's turn this over and take a look at what the back of the box looks like. It obviously gives you the rundown of all the stuff that's included on the board itself, you know, specifications. This is something I actually didn't know. It comes with steel-plated slots for your PCI cards, because as you may or may not know, if you're a PC enthusiast, you would know this, graphics cards are becoming quite large, and in turn also become quite heavy, and so they create a lot of droop, or they just hang there, and that has actually the capability of snapping either the connectors on the card itself or breaking the PCI slot. And so what manufacturers have been doing now lately is actually steel plating those PCI ports, which is fantastic. It really gives you that extra sturdiness that you really need. What's also awesome is that this actually comes with the new high bandwidth bridge for SLI. I couldn't believe it. I never expected to actually get one of those in a motherboard box, more like in a graphics card box, but that is pretty freaking cool. I don't have any SLI capable, except for my 550 Ti's, but those are super old. But I don't have any capable graphics cards at the moment. The 1060 is not actually built for SLI, which I'm okay with because that little beast of a card is actually a pretty powerhouse card. Also comes with dual M.2 slots if you have the money to buy those things. I have no need for it. I've got you know, a couple SSDs rare and ready to go, so I don't have to worry about that too much. But it is fantastic that those are actually on there, and there's two of them, which I love the fact that they did that, so I'm really, really happy. And also we've got an RGB LED controller built into the motherboard as well. So let's open this bad boy up and see what's going on. As you can probably tell from the back of the box, I went with a black and white scheme because the case, as you will see, that I got is not RGB. So we got a couple things here. We got the, what is this? The software setup guide. So that might come in handy, maybe. I don't know. I'll have to think that one over. We've got the quick installation guide. Of course, it comes with the, ooh, got a postcard. Comes with the installation disc and looks like a sticker. I like stickers. Nobody uses this. I don't have an optical drive, and I opted, of course, not to have one because I don't use it. Plus, the drivers, if I need them, are more up to date online anyway. And of course, you got the user manual, so to speak. Let's see. So we've got, here's an antenna. Here's one of the antennas. I'm sure stuff got thrown around here, but we got one of the two antennas for the Wi-Fi, the built-in Wi-Fi AC adapter. This is the high bandwidth bridge. Came in a nice little anti-static bag. I really like that. Nice touch. There's the plate for the I/O, or it's called the I/O shield. There's a couple of screws here. I wonder. I'm not sure what those are for. I'm sure the book has actually what those are actually used for. We've got a couple of SATA cables. Always nice to get a couple more of these. I've got a few extra of these lying around, or not really lying around. They're in a bag. I'm not that trashy. But I actually like getting extra of these because you never know when one of them might break, or you might actually need more. Let me get this out of the way here. Okay, and then we open this up. Okay, get this here. Get this off to the side. Okay, and as of right now, you can, I don't know if you can see it on the camera. No, you can't. That light is really reflecting off of this anti-static bag. I don't normally like handling this stuff without a good pair of powder-free rubber gloves, but that's usually during the build part. During this part, I think it'll be just fine, you know, as long as I'm not an idiot. So, this is, what do they call this? The ASRock Killer X370 motherboard. As you, like I said, I went with a black and white theme because it'll all make sense in a minute. AM4 slotted, of course. Obviously, you have to if you want to play with Ryzen. The I/O on the back, we've got 2, 4. I'm gonna guess that's also a USB 3.0, 5, 6, 7 USB 3.0 ports and a Type-C, which is also amazing. You got the optical digital, which I'm actually a fan of, to be honest. I've got my Tritons that are actually pretty decent when it comes to audio. You got an HDMI cable in case you don't have a graphics card, which why wouldn't you? And even better, PS2 slots for old school keyboards and motherboards in case you need to start the system up in a safe boot mode. In safe boot, I believe, if not always, the USB drive or ports are turned off, you know, for safety reasons. And so this is why you would actually want to have a PS2 and motherboard and mouse. We've got 4 DIMM slots over here, DDR4, and I'll be showing you guys that stuff in a second. We got 2 PCI Express 16 slots, again, both steel plated. Then we got 1, 2, 3, 4 one-time slots, which I don't need those anymore right now because I'm going to have my secondary computer to do all the streaming. We've got SATA ports on the side here, 2, 4, 6. We got 6 over there. There's a power and everything. So obviously pretty much standard, but this is good. There's the M.2 slot. That's 1 right there. And there's 2 right down there. So it's going to be very nice. I'm very, very excited to finally be in the Ryzen. You can see right here it's even branded with Ryzen, which is also a bonus in my opinion. And now we move on to the RAM. As I was about to explain, I've got DDR4 2400 megahertz RAM. Yes, I know it's not 3000 or something like that, but I'm not that big of an overclocker, so it only seemed that this was basically, I could have gone with maybe 2133. I don't actually remember if 2133 is DDR4. Pretty sure that might be DDR3, but still, I went with, you know, not the cheapest, certainly not, but I went with the low end because I know I'm not really much of an overclocker, and as most of you may or may not know, the Ryzen platform, basically speed of the processor scales based on the speed of the RAM. It's a very interesting setup that they've got going on there. So I went with the Flare X G-Skill RAM 2400 again, DDR4. It is 16 gigs, so that's two 8-gig sticks of this RAM, and I went with this because I'm a big Corsair person. I love Corsair. Everything they have is awesome. I just wasn't too comfortable getting the LPX RAM from them because I don't know if it's compatible with Ryzen. I actually went on the website and I believe I looked up the serial number, and it was not on the list of compatible RAM for Ryzen platforms. So it was a bit unfortunate that I had to change hands here, but I've heard a lot of good things about G-Skill, and of course this is purely compatible with AM4. Obviously it'll work on other, other things, I'm sure, but this is tested and it works perfectly with AM4. That's what it was built for. And so I had to go with certainly a trusted brand, but also one that I knew worked with the platform. So let's go ahead and just open this up real quick, give you guys a little bit of a closer look to the RAM. Let's open it this way. I like these backgrounds, really nice, laminated with their sticker. Gotta love my stickers. And we're gonna. Oh my god, taking this stuff out is annoying. There we go. So again, as you can see, I'm a stickler. I know a lot of guys will touch the copper pins and everything. I can't stand that. I can't do that. It just bugs the crap out of me. But it's got a really cool heatsink form going on here. It's really nice. Very, very sleek looking. Also, actually kind of low profile. Actually, not too tall, which is nice. This will work perfectly with the entire setup because one, it's black, so I don't have to worry about whether it's going to be a certain color or not. And two, it's nice and low, so that things can fit. Because I've had some issues in the past with. Pushing that down too far. There we go. I've had some issues in the past where the clearance between the RAM and the heatsink for the CPU just wasn't great. So it's kind of nice that they're nice and low profile, and I think it'll work really, really nicely. Now this wasn't actually part of the main build. This is actually the second power supply that I needed to get for my other computer, which is actually recording this right now. There's already a 750 watt power supply in there, so I'm going to switch that out for this because my computer that I have right now is going to be the streaming computer, and so I don't need a lot of power. I aimed to get a 430 watt power supply from Thermaltake, but the last time I got that from my dad's computer, it was there at Best Buy, and I planned on just going to Best Buy to get this stuff anyway. But they didn't have any, and I was kind of upset about that. It's obviously on the website, you can get it online, but I wanted to go into the store and get it. I didn't want to wait for another power supply. But luckily, and it was for $50, but luckily the EVGA 600 watt power supply was also $50, which was fantastic. I can't remember if the Thermaltake one was actually 80 plus bronze or something like that, but again, I'm a huge Corsair person. That's why my power supply in the main computer right now is a Corsair 750 watt. But you know what? EVGA makes damn good graphics cards, and I believe them when they say that they've got some really good power supplies. So let's open this bad boy up. It was already kind of ripped in the front. I don't care. It's just packaging. Some people get crazy about that. It's like, oh, do you see this? It's open. I want a discount. No, sir. That's the plastic on the outside, not the actual box itself. Shove it up your anus. And so this is actually my first EVGA power supply, which is this will be an interesting turn of events. But again, I trust EVGA. They make good product with the graphics cards, and I dare say that they would probably make a good power supply. I've seen them being used constantly in Linus Tech Tip videos and stuff like that, and Jay's 2 cents, and so I tend to believe that these guys are actually on the up and up here. So we've got the manual, just showing you a little bit of information about each the power supplies, 430, 500, 600. Obviously I got the 600. So we're gonna open this up. We've got the power cable, and this is not a semi-modular or even modular power supply, so this is going to have all the cables attached, as you can see. And we've got the the screws here attached to the underside. I'm just gonna pull it out here. Smells like new, and I love it. I love the smell of new. Now, this is rated for 80 plus. It doesn't say bronze, gold, platinum, or whatever. It's certainly not one of the higher ones. It's not even bronze, but 80 plus, I think just the base 80 plus is actually fine. Like, you want it to have some sort of rating, whether it be bronze or not. 80 plus rating at all is actually good, and EVGA definitely have a pretty nice little power supply for $50, 600 watts. This is more than enough. 430 watts would have been more than enough for a streaming computer, but I figured I'd include this in the video because, well, I installed that Corsair power supply a while ago, and I'm not about to take it out. Obviously, I need to record. Granted, I could have probably switched this one out before I started, but you know what? That's beside the point, all right? Shut up. On to the next piece, and that next piece is my very first liquid cooler. I've never actually done liquid cooling. This is what is called an AIO, or all-in-one liquid cooling system by NZXT. It's the Kraken X42, and it is a 140 millimeter fan-sized radiator and fan and so on and so forth liquid cooler. Again, my very first one. This is what's going to be cooling the Ryzen 1700, and I'm very excited because that means it'll be just that much quieter. Granted that the case fans don't spin up like crazy, but you know what, that really depends on the situation and how cold the room is. Since I have an air conditioner, then it'll be fine. But this will actually, if I do ever feel like overclocking or trying to overclock the CPU, again, that's based on how fast the RAM is. I may only be able to go so far, but theoretically, and I think actually literally, there's been plenty of testing to show that the 1700, not the 1700X or 1800X, the 1700 is fully capable of reaching 4.0 gigahertz just like the other two, which is why, actually one of the major reasons why I went with it in the first place, but we'll get to that. I've never had a liquid cooler. I didn't know who to go with, you know, whether I should have gone with Cooler Master or hell, even Corsair has some. But I was looking obviously specifically for AM4 compatibility, and well, all the other companies seemingly you needed to buy like extra brackets, or you needed to obtain extra brackets, which means I would have had to wait longer, I'm sure, to have that compatibility. But this is right out of the box compatible with AM4. So let's open this beast up and see what she's all about. It is also RGB capable, so I can have whatever color I want. And again, that is actually going to go in line with the case that I purchased. If you've been following my Twitter, you know what case I purchased, so that won't be anything new to you. But for those of you who don't follow my Twitter, this is all new to you. And you know what? I'm glad it is, because this is the fun part. So, these boxes sometimes are a bit difficult. Right off the bat here, we've got a assembly guide, really. So, I'm going to obviously need to keep that, because it's very, very important. It's on its side, so we're going to pull it out like this. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful. All in one packaging. I love it. So, there's the radiator right here. Okay, here's the fan. In between those two things, we've got the brackets. So you've got the bracket for an AMD, and then I believe this would be Intel. AMD's all by its lonesome in its own little baggie, but that's the one we'll be using for the AM4 platform. And of course, I'm gonna make sure that everything's hooked up properly. And of course, this is the pump and heatsink, and thankfully it comes with pre-applied thermal paste, which is always a pleasure to see. We've got, it looks like, I don't know what this is actually. I'm sure it's in the manual. It is certainly some plugs of some sort. I'm going to assume, let's see, we got two cables here. We've got USB micro. No, that's USB mini. Mini, that's mini, not micro. I'm an idiot. I'm not sure what that is. I'll have to look in the manual and see what that is. There's a SATA connection here, and I'm going to assume this is probably for RGB. I think it's a pretty safe assumption, because this is the power cable right here, and then this looks like it would hook up to something on the motherboard or some to that effect or something like that. But got a bunch of connectors here. I'll, of course, be looking at the manual. I don't know what those are. I'm terribly sorry that I'm not so any more informative. As I mess up my words. Anyway, so that's the cooler. I don't want to take it out just yet. I don't want to unwrap it because I think it's important to preserve the integrity. So we'll put everything back in here. But that is the cooler, my first liquid cooling system for my most beastly computer, soon to be. And I honestly can't wait to play with the RGB. Coming to the star of the show. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the Ryzen 1700 8-core 16-thread CPU from AMD. This thing sports a whopping 3.4 gigahertz starting. I believe it's 3.4. 3.2 or 3.4. It says 3.0 gigahertz base, but I don't know. Maybe I was thinking of the 1700X. But it's 3.0 gigahertz base. It can boost up to 3.7, which is pretty dang nice for their precision boost, as they call it. I've been waiting to do this for a long time. As you can see, the box is quite big because it comes with its own cooler. Again, I didn't think for a second. I was like, oh yeah, it comes with the cooler. But then I said, you know what, screw it. I've never had a liquid cooler, and who knows, I may want to actually overclock this. And no offense, AMD, but in the past, you guys haven't exactly been known for your stock coolers. And I didn't want to play too close to the edge with that, so I played it safe and actually got myself that liquid cooler. And this is the brains of the system. So why don't we take it on out of the books? I've been waiting for this for so long. I almost went to Intel. This processor, just to give you guys a heads up, this processor is $300 right now. The price actually dropped. Here's the processor, another sticker. Yay! I've got so many stickers. They're gonna be all over the case. I'm just kidding. That would be ruining the case. So this is the processor itself. I'm not gonna take it out because it's protected by some plastic, a nice little plastic shield, and I'd rather keep it nice and crisp for when I actually do put it in the system. And but that's the processor right there. And here is the cooler, which is actually pretty beefy, I've got to say. This thing is very, very heavy for a cooler, for an air cooler that comes with a CPU. That is actually pretty hefty. I'm not gonna lie. Their past CPU coolers, I think I tossed it. Actually, I used to still have the old CPU cooler that came with my FX 8370. But that also comes with pre-applied thermal paste. This is actually really nice. Look at this thing. Yeah, I'm actually kind of sad I'm not going to be using it. It's just like, this is really nice. Braided power cable? That is pretty freaking sweet. You know what, AMD? You may not have been great in the past, but this is looking pretty nice. I kind of wish I went with this instead and probably saved myself 130 bucks. That's how much the liquid cooler cost, by the way. Not bad, actually. NZXT, you guys rock on that price there. That probably doesn't go down there, it just probably swings in here. But that is a really nice looking cooler. The fan is very sturdy, very hefty built. Man, did not expect it to look like that. I'm not kidding. Like, I fully expected this to kind of be smallish like it used to be, like they used to have them, and not so good. But you know what? That impresses me. Again, kind of upset that I'm not using it, but that's okay. I got a liquid cooler now, and this is a pretty sweet backup. Because you never know. Even new stuff can break. How did this fit in here? Oh yeah, no, I'm an idiot. I thought this was the box that also housed the CPU, because, you know, I'm a moron. I'm gonna put that back here. But that is really nice, I gotta say. AMD, you guys really pulled out all the stops on this lineup. It's really very nice. So, I know I keep saying nice, but it's really nice. 8 cores, 16 threads. This is how you do multi-threading right. Obviously, they couldn't call it hyper-threading, otherwise that'd be copyright. But really excited to get this in the system and get it built. And the last piece of beastery is this bad boy right here. This is my case. This is the NZXT H440 Razer branded full tower. And let me tell you, this thing is huge. And by the weight of this thing, when I picked it up, it is damn near the weight of my current PC build with everything in it. That's how heavy this thing is, but that's how many features it comes with. It comes with a basement, which is really nice to hide the power supply so you don't have to have it sticking out the open. It comes with rubber grommets for your cable management and everything, and it's got, LED lighting on the bottom of it. That kind of stuff is illegal on a car, not on a case. I don't know, maybe it's not where you live if you're watching this from like California or Florida. But up here in New York, we cannot have underglow on our cars while we're driving, which is just the man trying to get us down. This is actually the front. But as you can see, it is a very, very big case. And I went with this simply because NZXT has a really good reputation, but also the fact that it's Razer branded. And it's the only one that I know that is Razer branded. And I'm really, really happy that I have it. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if these actually light up, but I assume that they are. NZXT actually got back to me today in a tweet when I asked if it was RGB or not, and they said it is not, but it does light up green, which is fine with me. A whole green build. I would have liked to have it be blue, Gamers Platform blue, but you know what? I don't care. Not that big a deal. I'm a huge fan of Razer. I've got their keyboard, their mouse pad. Now I have their tower. I got 2 of their keyboards actually. Thank you, Jeremy. But I guess I'll just take this out and show you guys. I didn't take it out until now. I've had this actually for a few weeks because gotta avoid them scratches, man. Brand new case. There's no way I'm gonna take it out and have, I don't know, my dog scratch it or whatever. I'd rather it be unscratched when I am ready to finally unveil the beast. Yeah, so I assume that the at least the front panel is lit, lights up, and I don't mean the new way of lit. Oh man, there we go. Gotta wiggle it, wiggle, wiggle. Be careful. It's a good thing my carpet's white because all of those little furry, the little foamy pieces would have just turned this floor into a snow show. Anyway, as usual and as is per what every company should do, nice hard packing foam, none of that soft crap. So kudos NZXT. I bought this directly from NZXT. They did not have any purchasing links on Newegg, but you know what? I'm okay with that. I do have to make sure I vacuum this stuff up. I don't want the dog eating any of it. And so we're just gonna unwrap it here. New case. Oh, that's static. Ooh, yeah. That is a really cool feeling. What is that? Oh man, it's like halfway between metal and plastic. It's amazing. Oh, this is beautiful. This is a gorgeous case, actually. Now, I am unfamiliar with this case. Obviously, I'm going to get very, very familiar with it. Anyway, you don't want to know about my sexual exploits. So, it looked like the way I looked at it, I thought this was like a door. It might be. But it might not be, because it's one solid piece here. You probably can take it off, though, so that way... Oop, didn't want to do that, but there you go. There's the logo unwrapped. Yeah, this could easily get scratched. No doubt about it. You probably can take this off so you can maybe do something with the fans in the front. Maybe you can't, but all I know is that this is basically what you have for air intake. You've got this grill on the side right here, and then you've got the top here for possible intake. Yep, there's a nice little hole going right down the front. This case actually comes with fans in the case. I believe there's 3 up front here and then 1 in the rear, 140 millimeter in the back, which is where my radiator is going. On top here we've got, looks like USB 2 and 3 in the front here. Now, if you're a Razer fan like me, you know that Razer likes to put their color on everything, and so these aren't normal blue USB 3.0s. They're green, which is fine with me. And of course, you've got your headphone and microphone jacks in the front, if you ever so choose to have that going through the front. I would probably just put it through the motherboard. Oh man, these are thumb screws and they're so hard to pull off. I like that though. Everything in the back here is actually thumb screws. You got the panels here, and then you've got the bracket for the power supply. Stop. There we go. That was hard, man. Finger tight, finger tight. That was way more than finger tight. Okay, I know you guys can't really see much here. I apologize. Looks like we got some tools here. All the drive bays open up from the rear, which I love. It keeps the front nice and clean. We've got SSD mounts, 2 to be exact, on top of the basement, and of course the basement itself, where the power supply and cables get to sit nicey nice. Motherboard, and there's the fan, the 140mm fan. Now, as far as the drive bays being removable, since they do come out, I assume that I can just take some out, and that'll be that, and boom, I have more room. But let me tell you, this case, I'm not entirely sure how much bigger it is than my current case, but as far as I know, it's a full tower. I could be wrong. It's not that much bigger, actually. About I want to say maybe a ½ inch taller, but there's a lot more options, and that's what matters to me. Gotta have them options. So really, really excited to get building in this. I am terrible at, I need a better camera angle when it comes to doing case reveals, especially one as big as this. Here, I'll do this. There you go. Okay, now you can see the whole thing. Sort of. But, yeah, so this is, again, the NZXT H440 Razer branded, I believe, full tower. It could be mid tower. I'm always wrong, so it doesn't matter. Oh, it's gonna be good. Oh, so anyway, guys, that is the unboxing of my brand new computer. I will be putting up a build vlog very soon after this video goes up, so be on the lookout for that. If you're curious as to what the parts are, I will leave links to them in the video description. You can check out all the parts that I actually bought to build this PC. Again, I already have some of the parts, like the power supply, the 750 watt power supply, and I've got extra SSDs. I will actually be using this PNY SSD, very basic 120 gigabyte, very light actually. It feels, it's very plastic feeling. You know, and I've got an extra SSD if I need to, but which I probably will, honestly, just to record and stream. The recording's having a nice fast drive. I'll have the archive drive inside the secondary PC, but to have a nice fast drive to record to is actually not a bad idea, especially when you plan on recording and streaming at the same time. Even just for recording purposes, if you want to get that nice high frame rate gameplay, 1080p, hell, even 4K, you need that speed of the SSDs. And as basic as those are, they do just fine. So, you know, if you're just looking for, you know, an SSD to start with, PNY is actually a really good company. They got them at good prices, and 120 gigs is actually not that much nowadays, like 40 bucks at most. But yeah, so I'll be using those as the main drives for the streaming computer, and I can't wait to get started on that. But yes, I will leave the links in the video description for you guys to check out all the parts. And hopefully, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't like it, hit that thumbs down button. Check the links in the description for the Extra Life campaign. I'm still trying to raise $200 for my local children's hospital. So if you guys could really help out, that'd be great. We're still at 25 bucks. We've been stuck there since the beginning of the year, and I could really use your help. If you can't donate, don't worry. I promise you we're going to hit that $200. But, you know, the Extra Life event doesn't happen until November, so we got plenty of time. But I would like to hit that $200 prior to the event so that way we can make more. Because everything that we do for charity is always a good thing. And, of course, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. But until next time, guys, I'm Adam Wolf. This was my brand new unboxing, and I will see you guys in the next one.